Hello everybody, my name is Star Wars Boy, how are you? And welcome to a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. In this video, we are going to be doing a hero guide on Kylo Ren. Yesterday I stated after the Rey hero guide that I would be doing a Kylo Ren hero guide, and here I am doing it today. Without further ado, let's get started. Now moving on to Kylo's base stats, he has a base health of 750 and health regain of 250, which is the equal to most saber heroes in the game. His weapon is of course his crossguard lightsaber, which we see across the entire sequel trilogy, and it does some good damage. It does 125 damage to the front and 165 damage to the back, meaning that with Kylo it's always important to hit an enemy from the back. As for his stamina, I'd classify it as an 8 out of 10. His attacking stamina is pretty good, and so is his defensive. You often won't really run out of stamina with Kylo Ren. His swing speed is 1.8 swings per second, just like most other saber heroes in the game. Moving on to Kylo Ren's ability, his first L1 ability is called Pull and has a 20-second cooldown. Kylo uses the Force to pull enemies ahead of their feet towards him, and it does a really small 10 damage. As for the pros of this ability, it brings enemies to you, knocking them off their feet. This means when they do arrive to you, they will be on their feet and unable to attack. As for the cons, this ability can be blocked or even dodged by a well-timed roll. His second R1 ability is called Freeze and has a 24-second cooldown. Kylo freezes all enemies in front of him, immobilizing them for a duration, and the duration is 2.5 seconds, which is pretty good. As for the pros, it allows for easy kills and allows for a quick escape if you are low on health. Again, as for cons, it can be blocked or dodged with a well-timed roll, and if a small object is in the way, it might interfere with the ability. However, this is still a really good ability, and I recommend using it a lot of the time. Now moving on to Kylo's third and final ability, it is called Freeze and has a 10-second cooldown. Now being the idiot I am, I left a description of the last ability on this slide. Kylo Ren enters a frenzied rage and leaps from enemy to enemy, striking them with his lightsaber and reducing damage dealt to him. The damage is 160 for non-heroes and 115 for heroes, which is honestly pretty good. As for the pros, it clears out enemies, is a good area effect, and saves stamina. What I mean by save stamina is if you're already low on stamina, using this ability will nab you an extra kill or get a lot of damage dealt in. So you will regain your stamina while this ability is active. As for the cons, again, it can be blocked by sabers or a well-timed roll. Also, it can also be dodged by an object in the enemy's way, so be sure to look out for that. Moving on to Kylo's star cards, the first star card I recommend for Galactic Assault or Supremacy is called Closing In. Kylo Ren can leap a longer distance when attacking with his frenzy attack, and the distance increase goes from 10% to 40 with a maxed out star card. This star card is great because that frenzy is already really good, but having to go up right in their faces to activate it is not the best, so having that extra leap distance will help you out a lot. The next star card I recommend using is called Power Reach. Pull has an increased area effect. This is really good for obvious reasons, as you can pull more enemies towards you with a higher area effect. It goes from 15% to 30% with a maxed out star card. Now moving on to his third and final star card, I would recommend the Berserking Tantrum card. Kylo Ren's lightsaber strikes drain less stamina, and it goes from 8% less to 20% less with a maxed out star card. Now the reason I use this in GA and Supremacy is because the one thing keeping me from eliminating the entire team is basically my stamina half the time. So draining less with lightsaber strikes is honestly gonna help me out a lot, and I hope it helps you out too. Now moving on to his best maps, and these are three maps that I feel like I do best with Kylo Ren on. The first one is Camino, because obviously, again, it's really open in the second phase, and even in the third phase it's a bit close quarters. It adds some variety to the map, and it really helps him with his ability loop. The second map is going to be Tatooine for the very same reasons that I said for Kamino. The map is fairly large and wide open, but there are very close quarter areas where Kylo Ren's frenzy will be amazing. As for the third map, I've chosen Kashyyyk mainly because its linear format does make a good form for Kylo's force pull. His frenzy works amazing in this map because, yet again, the bushes that you can't go through do allow for some coarse quarter combat. Now, moving on to some tips and tricks for Kylo, the first one I have is to use the pull and freeze in mid-air whenever you have the chance. Now, I'm not saying to jump up in the air during a fight because you will get absolutely demolished. However, if you are going to an enemy and you are jumping up in the air, then it's better to use that freeze or pull then. You'll bring the enemies further and closer to you, and you can use the frenzy right after. The second tip is to not use pull or freeze while you're in a gunfight. And what I mean by this is to not use it when you're low health and little stamina. Now, the better choice to be would to be run away. However, some people like to be more aggressive even if they are at really low health. However, the one thing about the freeze and the pull is even though it may look like you're blocking, you're actually not. So if you use the pull or freeze while you're getting shot at, you will get damaged and you might die. So that is going to be it for this Kylo Ren hero guide, guys. I'm going to actually be updating my Darth Vader hero guide because the second I made it, they actually changed Darth Vader quite a bit. So I'm going to be redoing him later on in the month. However, next week we will be looking at Yoda and Palpatine. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys next time. Bye, and may the Force be with you always.